So how's everyone?
Feeling good. Feeling good.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Pandemic and all that.
Oh, good. Yeah.
You mind introduce yourself in there? Or should I do it? We start from the right and then moving to the left. Is that clockwise? Like,
I don't know.
which one is clockwise?
Start with you.
Yeah, I'm Marvin.
Marvin. Marvin.
MC Dubh.
What, the one and only Jerome?
PJ, yours truly the boy. You guys know me from the Talk2 Podcast. So today we're here at the Sesh Island. Actually, Sesh, you know what? I'm going to let Ray introduce where we are. Ray, tell us where we are.
Yeah, we're at Sesh, the Southeast Studio headquarters. So we come here, the Southeast, anyone wants to record or whatever, get your asses over here. This is where we can take it to the next level. We got everything. We got it lined up nicely.
That's
Music.
what's up.
Basically, if you record music, this is a great place to record. Man, takes me back in the days when I used to do music. Actually, for the record here.
Yeah, what happened? Now that you mentioned, what happened to that?
To mute, bro,
Yeah,
I just
we stopped
found
that.
all the interests. It's like I was doing music. You know when you grow up, you like find music and then like you find girls. That's where I got like music. Girls,
Oh.
and I just left.
Okay. Okay. I
Never
feel
look
you.
back. Your mind's still there. Like
Alright, okay.
even though you found girls, your mind's still
I
there.
hear you.
But listen, bro, thank you guys for coming in here. First of all, I want to say,
I was already here.
I pretend like this is my house.
So you walked into that one.
Yeah. Nah, I'm cool.
Nah, I'm good for now.
You mans out here, better promoting like he's like, yo, man.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah,
Promotion.
Heineken should pay us for this
No,
one,
it's
yeah,
not
because
good.
we're placing an ad for him.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's start off. I was gonna ask you guys this. I know we didn't talk about this in the preview thing. You know, we're talking behind the scenes, off mic. What you guys think is gonna happen in 2021 when that bell rings and it's like bye 2000? Because some people still have this illusion that, oh yeah, 2021 is gonna hit and boom, the pandemic is just gonna disappear and then we're all just gonna wake up from like this crazy dream we had. I had a crazy dream last night.
That's
what we're getting sick of.
ridiculous to think that way.
That's what people think though. They're like 2020 is trash. Why if 2021 is trash?
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, yeah, what made 2020 trash? It's the fact that the pandemic hit, right? And that's not gone away yet, right? And it's not looking like it's gonna go away in the next 4 weeks, is it?
I don't
So-
think it's ever going to go away, to tell you the truth.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So come 2021, we're still gonna have this, aren't we?
I know we're not like
And it's not gonna change.
I know we're not like doctors, scientists,
Mm.
whatever. Can you guys give like, cause this thing the way it happens is it's gonna keep spreading. There's going to be more lockdowns to come in the future. They're gonna keep locking this down to reduce the numbers and stuff like that. And then you're gonna have people basically just getting used to this and just like basically wear masks. I wanna be able for us to be able to be like predict something that you think is gonna come. Is there like a technology you guys think it's coming? Like
I think it's a bit of everything. It might be technology, and it's like, what are they really up to? Because to me, it ain't normal.
yeah,
Everything that everyone's doing is not normal. And it's not like, to me, it's not because of the virus. It's got to be something else. Because I don't even know. You know, but
you think they're profiting off? Is there somebody profiting?
Yeah,
off?
because you
yeah,
think about
they're
it
closing-
technically.
Sorry, they're closing people down as well.
Yeah.
Like, they're literally locking people up because
Yeah.
they're making their business shut and they can't come back from that.
Yeah.
So what is the purpose of that? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Because
Speaking
it's-
of, do you guys see the? Sorry,
Mm.
just
Yeah,
going
go
on.
on.
Do you guys see? What was that? It was in Liverpool when they were doing this. They were doing like a protest where loads of people came out and they were like, protesting against, the whole lockdown, demanding the truth, the way people have their own rights and stuff like that. Like the police actually doesn't have the right in the UK to shut down your shop because they're sworn allegiance to the Queen or something like that, not actually to the government.
Yeah, but
There
I
was a
don't
guy-
even think they have the right in Ireland. I don't think that legislation was passed, because now I could be wrong on this, so I stand to be corrected on that. But as far as I know, they technically don't have the right to shut down someone's business for as long as you're private limited. Do you know what I mean? And for as long as you adhere to social distancing and all of these, whatever that is, I don't think they have the right. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, but what I see from what you've said, that's an excellent point, right? You're putting that forward. The problem is if an establishment does not agree to close their business down, what that is then is that's negligence. And if, say, for instance, if I go to Joe Blogg's business and they're open for business and then something happens, a parent or a elderly, you know what I mean? And it turns out that the problem was, you know, picked up, the virus was picked up from someone at that establishment. But then it comes back, and then it's negligent, and then you can sue me then.
It is,
you know,
criminal
you can sue me. Yeah, it's criminal negligence. So it's, for me, it's really tricky. Down. It's tricky, as you said, but it's really down to the person, the owner of the establishment, and whether they want to take those risks. Because there is a danger. I know people are saying, "Oh, it's not real." There are people dying. There are people dying.
That's right. That's facts.
Disease. You know what I mean? It's not a joke. You know, we can laugh and we can say, "Oh, you know, it's not going to happen to me." But you know, like even today, we took our precautions. We were cleaning our hands, wearing our mask, and trying to keep our, you know, it's not the biggest place, but we're trying to keep our distance, and you know, we're not sticking our fingers in each other's mouth like we usually do.
I think we never did that.
But no,
wait, hang on a minute, time out.
I don't think we ever did that.
No, but you know what I mean. No, there is a danger out there, and you know, it's just, I think it's down to the individual to make their choice and decide, right, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
But then now on the flip, like man over there was saying, it's tricky to understand what's really going on, because if you look at it from an economic point of view, right, they're shutting down businesses, right, which means that if this carries on, the economy is going to crash, right? But there seems to be no concern around that. Now, don't get me wrong here, like you say, there is a virus, right? And it's serious business. But then, let's just say, okay, so like man was saying, so what if tomorrow comes here and boom, virus is gone? What happens to the economy? How do we recover from that? What happens then? Do you know what I mean?
It's going to take I feel it's going to take a long time to recover from this. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to take a long time to recover. But I don't know how or what, how people are getting it. You know, like I know the situation, what they say it is, but how people really getting it is because it's literally not following the rules, like not wearing masks, stuff like that, and going to certain places and touching things, and touching their face. But the other thing, the other thing I was going to say, the other thing I was going to say is that if you don't want to close your business, you automatically your business can close down, in my eyes, because what they're doing is closing things, saying you can't have this, you can't get that at this present moment. You know, it's not essential. So if you're not selling those products anymore, it's still going to affect you. You've still got bills to pay and stuff like that. You know, you need to make money. So unless your shop's quite big and you're doing all right with the other stuff, I don't see how.
It's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah. Shout out to anybody who's like lost, obviously, their business and all that, and you know, that they had to shut down, and you know, especially people that have families and kids and stuff. You know, so it's really hard on them as well. I was gonna ask you, man's like, so when the vaccine comes, are you man's up for it? Like, are you? Because I heard loads of stuff about the vaccine. Like, I mean, it's being reproduced so much. There was a video that came out a couple of days, and I didn't pay too much mind, but I watched it the first time and it just scared me right away because the lady unpacked the whole vaccine because it's here. It's here. It's not like it's coming, whatever, but the vaccine is here. There's mans are saying vaccine takes 21 years to develop. These mans develop this in 5 minutes, you know, and people are saying that people have all certain type of theories. And, you know, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. I just want to basically know exactly what's in this vaccine. I mean, you have the right to know what you put in your body.
Yeah. With the vaccine, as soon as that vaccine's out, I'm first in line to say, yours, I'm not taking that. You know what I mean?
Do you know what you're saying? I thought you was going in a different direction with that.
No, but I said that the same thing. I said, nah, my kids ain't going nowhere near that. But I think you got no choice. You're going to fall in line. You're going to have to, because it's going to come to a point that they're gonna say they're gonna ask you first, then they might beg you,
Yeah.
then they'll say, you know what,
and
you've
then
got no
you
choice.
feel-
'Cause
yeah.
the whole world's got you haven't got. You have to stay over here.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't come into the
And you
field,
can't isolate
can't
your
go on the
kids
bus,
anymore.
You can't do that.
Mm.
Do you think that's going to be the thing?
I can
Single
see
you
that.
out
There's
and
a
use the
possibility.
population to single
They
you
did
out?
try to do that. I'm not sure. Don't credit me on this, but it was. I think it was Belgium. So I saw it somewhere. I could check out my phone, but it's filming. But it was someone like Belgium or something. All the people of the nation just said, "No, thanks. We're not going for it," because they tried to make it mandatory. They tried to make it everybody has to do it. You know, your kids can't go to school if they haven't had it. You can't travel as easily if you haven't had it, etc., etc. But the people stood up and said no. And I know for a fact in Ireland, people are going to do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's not, you know what I mean? Like when it came with
Not
the,
much
I don't know
of
if you
a
remember the water bills.
Yo, I remember that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of people.
People
just
came out.
said
They were
no.
like, nah, bro.
Do you know what I mean? You can push people a certain, especially Irish people. You can push them a certain distance,
right.
but when the back gets to the wall, you better put your fists up because
Yeah.
it's time to start fighting.
Yeah.
You know, fact.
But according to, I don't know now, I read this about a week or two ago, and according to a survey, I think then it was 50-50 on who was willing to take the vaccine. It was 50 minus the vaccine and 50 for the vaccine.
Yeah.
So
I think they're going to take it.
but because you see, there's been a lot of fear mongering around this whole virus, so people are afraid, and when people are afraid, they do just about anything to go back to that normality and feel secure. Do you know what I mean? So I think this is gonna come into play when it comes to this whole vaccine situation.
Does anyone know what's in the vaccine?
Oh,
Roughly.
bro.
I've heard like different stuff, like there's like human DNA
Mm.
altering
I heard that
changes
Of
too.
a
and stuff.
4-month-old baby human DNA
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
basically in it.
Yeah.
But the thing as well, that if you don't mind me cutting
Yeah.
across for a second, like people talk about vaccines and we don't trust them and so on. The problem with it is because historically, governments have not been completely above board with how they look after the population, right? So you've got situations in Africa, different parts of Africa. They tried to send the vaccine there, and there was people dropping off like flies from the vaccine. You've got, if you look back further, in USA, they gave the Indians over there, they gave them blankets to look after them, keep them warm in the winter. Smallpox was inside the blankets that they were given to people. You know, the government, it's hard to trust a government when there's been such problems like that. That has, you know, and that should be addressed by the government. You know, just like by the different governments.
They
you
will
know,
never address
but
that.
this is it. They never will. But these are things that should be addressed, and you know, it's a tough one.
We all want like a better world. We all want like stuff to happen. We all want rainbows. We all want rappers to stop killing each other. And we just go ahead and do it. Like
Wait, hang on a minute. What is going to do with rappers shooting each
bro,
other?
rappers are dying like flies, man, bro. Just like last month, 3 rappers died.
Yeah, but look, okay,
did
so
they
let's
have the
just
virus?
sideline. Let's
No,
just sideline
yeah, hold on,
and
hold
go
on.
into
I'm
rappers
gonna
for
tell
a
you
minute.
how I got into the rappers. Like I was telling, like the world wants to be. We all have this imagination where we want to go, where we want the world to be. We want racism to stop. You understand? But we know there's mans that are benefits from the Black Lives Matter protest, and there's mans that benefit from the racism going, and you know, and we all saying, oh yeah, we want like this to stop. It's still happening. That's when like it just popped in my head. Rappers
That's the
are
problem.
dying these
That's
days.
the problem. We don't tackle the problem. Like for me, if a question was posed, right? You know, like when it comes to police brutality in the States and whatnot, right? And people shooting each other, right? What's the biggest problem, right? They talk about gun control. No, get rid of the guns. How about that, right? What happened to back in the day, where man just step in front of each other's face, whoop the shit out of each other, right?
When was
Problem
that?
solved. Yeah, back in the old
What
days,
year
that's
was
how
that?
it was.
Bro, I don't think my ancestor existed.
They did though. They did though.
Bro.
But once guns, because now, if you notice, you know, like even in Ireland now, not so long ago, they're talking about how many guards actually have weapons, and they're trying to cut down on that as well.
Wait.
In
You guys
Ireland.
have weapons here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny though? I just finished watching that show.
Remember we on camera.
Yeah. I finished watching that show, Top Boy, whatever. You know,
Oh, yeah.
and like, bro, I didn't know. I thought like in UK they were just like stabbing each other. They have like guns over there. That's based on the show. I've never like really been like.
But you
One
see,
of
I
like-
lived there, and then
the gun
everyone's got
culture,
guns.
Yeah.
the gun
Kids got
culture
guns.
is ridiculous in
Kids
the
got guns
UK.
over there, man.
Fam, I looked at it. I was like, whoa. So is that like acid and knives? It's like guns. People are like.
Yo, in the
I used to live
UK,
in
don't
London,
play
and trust me,
machetes,
there's guns
anything,
Yeah,
guns, anything goes.
Yeah.
Anything goes. Like in the UK, there's some ends here. You don't go talking to some man near any type of way. Honestly.
Sometimes you don't even look at them.
Yeah.
And
I'm
if
telling you.
sometimes you don't look. Sometimes you have to look.
Yeah.
No, you're just in trouble. You just have
Because
to
you
blend
just don't
in.
know.
Yeah, you have to blend in.
It's,
Jeez.
but
I was in the West End actually. This is going back a good few years ago, and like I was going back and forward from Ireland all the time. And I was just standing there. I was with a group of friends, and we were in Oxford Circus. You know Oxford Circus.
Yeah.
Standing there anyway, and I was just looking around, and I just looked and happened to glance at this guy, right, about my same age or whatever. I glanced at him, and he goes, "What are you doing?" And all his mates were behind him, and then we're like, it was starting to kick off. Like these guys ripped off their belts. My guys then start whipping off their belts, and I'm like,
And you're like,
what's going
on?
on? Guys, keep your belts on. Like, you know what I mean?
in a
I was
split
just,
second.
just from looking,
Yeah.
just from
Yeah.
visual. But the thing about it is, right, for me, when you've lived in a place like London and you come to a place like Ireland, especially Waterford, and it's so much more laid back.
Yeah.
It really is so much
Calm
more
here.
laid back.
Yeah.
It's a different level.
It's gone.
It's a different level.
Whoa,
I
But you know what's
I
messed
actually
up?
found myself doing that when I first came over here. Like I played loud music in my car sometimes, so I was going through Wexford Town in August, and some youths were looking all there laughing and talking and everything. Now I couldn't take it. You know what I'm saying? So I went and go, "What's your problem?" I was just saying to my friend, "I love your car." I'm like, "Oh," and I love your music. I was like, "Oh, okay." Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
See,
jumping down people's throat. Like,
Yeah.
at least 3 times I did it, and I was like, "No, I've got to stop doing that."
But you know what's funny though? I've been here for such a long time. When I went back home, because you're so used to the energy. When I went back home, I was like, oh, we went to the beach and stuff like that. We're at the beach and we're chilling, and it's like this.
Home
Man,
is like
getting,
home
they
is,
get they get loud
home
and
is
stuff
where?
like that.
Where is home?
But I in Angola, so I went
Angola,
to Angola
yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm
just
part
for anyone
Congolese,
that
I'm part from Angola, but I would usually chill in Angola because in Congo they're killing people, so like I can't really step in there like that. So we go to the beach, we're chilling and everything, and like mans are coming mad aggressive, and like because you've been here for so long in Waterford, you're used to like this calm vibe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I feel safe here, but you're home, but like I don't think I feel safe here. I think we should leave it like now. You understand? And like I felt like I was while I stepped in here now in Waterford, living in Wexford and all that. I got so used to the life here that going back home all of a sudden seems like it's like too much.
It seems a bit more intimidating.
It's
And
like
you-
that.
And
I
you know
know
what's
that's
wild?
true.
That's what can get dangerous. Like you say, like you saying, like in London, right? Your man can step up to you talking about you. Who you looking at? And like nothing. You're also you saying I'm nothing. And
Yeah.
and then
That's
it's
the
on.
lyric.
I'm
And
nothing.
so you
That's the
you
lyric.
can't
Yes, you're
win.
nothing.
You
you
can't
can't
win
win.
either way.
Yeah. We're not all as lucky as this guy. Like
I know.
You go near this guy, it's over.
Yeah. what is your back? So you do martial arts?
Yeah, I've been doing martial arts since I was 6.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Wow.
Been touching a few different martial arts, but Taekwondo is the one that I kind of mastered. Well, Taekwondo and karate.
And you're like acting as well. I have to say, when
Yeah.
Ray gave me your background, I was like, who's this Marvin guy? Man? Who can I find him? I was like, okay, let's go to Ray page.
Yeah.
You see, like you're acting into the balance. Into the balance,
yeah. Into the balance.
Bro, how you get that gig? Like, is that?
Because I've just been doing it like background work and working on adverts and different sets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, and because I was there for about 3 years or something like that, 4 years
Yeah.
as a background, and then they just decided, yeah, they're gonna pick me to use me because they brought someone else in and he didn't fit the uniform basically, and they said just get Marvin to do it because I'm always on time.
Wait,
I'm
mine
always
was
there.
mine was like too. I'm not trying to offend. Like, it was too round. He was like,
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, he was too around and a little bit
kinda-
just smiling too much.
means
He was meant to
workout,
be-
man.
He was meant to be like a gang leader, and he was
Yeah?
just smiling,
Oh.
like, happy, and
Oh,
yeah.
so they're like, oh, so he didn't fit the profile.
No.
like,
So, and luckily, for some reason, I fit the clothes that he was wearing.
This
I'm
is
not as big as him.
perfect.
I don't know
It was
why.
meant to be.
Must be the shoulders.
It was
know?
meant to be.
But yeah, then I just got it, and but I learned from that as well because I thought, yeah, I made it. This is it, man. But no,
They were like, yo, we used you, bro.
that's it. It's done. So what, you have to kind of like just push yourself into it, you know,
And keep going.
and keep going. Yeah,
It's a work in
Even if you get
progress.
knocked-
And what's
even
that
if you get
like?
knocked
What's that
back.
life like? I've never like
Do you know?
when we grew up, we never pictured like, oh, I'm gonna be like Tom Cruise or whatever, or Idris Elba or something like that, you know?
Yeah, so I was never like that, but I do love Jackie Chan, and I said I want to work with him one day. And you know what? Working on Badlands, I actually worked with his team, Jackie Chan's stunt team.
Yeah.
So I got to meet them. I got to meet people that he's actually trained as a kid, and he's what's the word called? I forgot. No, he's basically just coaching him.
Yeah.
You know, to be like him, basically. And I'm like,
All
I
right.
met the guy, you know, and he goes back home. He's going back to Jackie Chan. I'm like, that's kind of good enough for me, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
tell
but
him,
that's
tell him
me.
your what you've got, like, you know, to explain to the guys.
What
you know,
belts
like,
I've got and stuff.
Yeah, like what you've done, and
Or
you
your
know,
accolades.
like this guy. I know he looks, you know, soft. And everything,
No, I don't
but
judge
he's
by look.
A lovely guy, but you know, he's got like he's trained me as well. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to sort of let him see what he can do. He's very good at what he does.
Do you have like
You
a
know?
gym back in Augustine?
In New Ross, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that, bro.
Yeah, I almost joined now. Now that
Yeah.
Ray
I
tells me
mentioned-
he put him up for some 6 foot dude, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I didn't
No,
join.
I look after everyone. I look after everyone. If
No.
I think Ray couldn't handle it, I would never put him in that situation.
Yeah.
And I might put him in that situation, but I'll be there for him. I would stop the fight. I would jump in front of him if I have to, if I thought it was dangerous. I'll just pull him out. But
Yeah. The
it's
guys
experience.
don't know. The guys at home don't know.
Yeah.
Basically, he put me in against the guy that was 6'6" the first time. Handled it all right, didn't I?
Yeah,
Handled
good.
it all right.
What was it
the
you
guy,
guys doing?
huh?
full
What was
contact.
Taekwondo, full
Full
contact. Basically, the guy was.
Well, hold on. 1 second there. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you guys. I do not know what Taekwondo full contact is. I'm quite sure a few people don't know. Why
You know
is this?
karate, yeah?
Yeah.
It's just like karate, but there's no punching. There's 10 times more kicking. And
So
it's
just,
as lethal.
kicking basically.
Yeah,
It's a
like
lethal martial art.
jump kicks. Like I was doing stuff. This
Yeah.
guy was showing me how to do stuff, and I was like, I didn't think I could do that.
Mm.
And then next minute, he said, well, if you do this, you do that. And next minute, I'm jumping up in the air, you know, doing what the hell did my feet just do?
Yeah.
But I was in against a big guy. He could probably watch this now. Vardas, top man. I didn't win, but I held my own.
Vardas.
You know, the guy is big. Vardas, yeah. I think he's
Brazilian.
Eastern European guy.
Yeah.
Lovely guy. Like we had a chat after it, and
Yeah.
we're good friends now and so on. But he was going to kick the head off me, so I said, right. I just was kind of up against the wall. And I said, right, I have to come out fighting at this guy. So I just kind of went forward, and I was winning, wasn't I?
Yeah.
But I just kind of, you know, I was doing this and towards the end. I just, you know,
Did you
So
feel
what's the
like
fit
you
as
feel
I would
like
like
you
to
found a part of yourself that kind of like, you know, that you didn't know existed, that kind of just came out? Yo, Ray 2.0.
well, the thing about it was, right, I was doing taekwondo. Myself and my nephew were going up each week. So my nephew was fighting a bigger guy than him. He was only 11 or 12 at
Is
the
that the
time.
one you bought the guy, the
James.
kid who went to the gym?
Yeah.
But this guy, man, this guy comes up to the gym, and I'm like working now and stuff. And I see Ray with 2 kids. I'm like, bro, why are you?
You're gonna get me.
Wait,
You're
wait.
gonna get me chucked out of the gym.
They weren't kids. They weren't.
Yeah, they were
overage.
men.
They look like kids.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Joe,
many
kid,
years
Joe.
ago.
Yeah, go ahead.
So,
go ahead.
but I lost my.
No, you brought your cousin or your nephew.
So we'll bring him there, and he had to fight a big guy as well. So I was like, okay, I can't just walk off and say my little nephew fought a big guy, and I can't. So yeah, so I'll fight a big guy. I can't. But Valdas, you're the man. You're the man. You won.
So
But he
Marvin-
won towards the end. I must get that off
Yeah,
that video
yeah.
for that.
So Marvin, let me see if I understand this whole taekwondo thing. So the aim of the actual sport and the discipline itself. It's about self-discipline and respect for your opponent,
Yeah.
regardless of
Yeah.
whether you win or lose.
Yeah,
Do I have the
definitely.
right?
You should be, even if you're angry with each other in the ring,
Yeah.
and it really kicks off. When you step off, we should be friends. You know, you should go to make friends, basically. Or
So you don't
Just
wait for
taking
him
it-
across the corner with your boys after the fight.
nah,
And-
No,
you
you
do
do
that.
that. You can
old
handle it
school,
yourself.
olden
Yeah.
days it used to be like that, but
Yeah.
now it's like all about trying to be respectful and.
But how
I mean,
do you do that? How do you like I've never had this type. I have self a long time ago. My dad and his brother, they were like into like God rest his soul. They were into like basically judo. They were into judo, so they were well known. Like they were well known. They will go around. They were well known that this brother, he did not mess with them. They knew this, they knew that. So when we growing up, it kind of taught me a bit. But I never grew up with like that much. So I'll probably say my mentality is not there. You understand, in terms of like that type of stuff. But what I'm trying to say is, like, how does one that is new into that type of category, and then it comes in, and then you get you get whooped, basically they beat you up, it's a match, whatever, and it's finished, and you don't hold no type of grudges of like ill will towards the person.
That's actually interesting.
Because basically you're there to learn. You're not there to fight. It's not a street fight. It's not for real. So if you get whooped, you get whooped. That's your learning point. That's why I sent Ray in with a 6-foot dude, because if that dude's approaching the street, you can't say, "Yo, like time out. You're too big for me." He has to go for it. So this is the place to practice and understand what kind of person you are. Not to be strong and aggressive and start attacking people, but to get strong and be able to say, I can handle myself. I can protect myself, and I can protect others if I needed to. If I saw someone in trouble, and this guy looks big and he's killing everyone, looks like, I could walk away. But the kind of person I am, I would need to step in there and stop it. Even if it's not like physically, it would have to be verbally. Like I would have to. That's the main thing. You do learn to fight, but you basically use your mouth as a weapon first, before you even throw a kick or a punch. You know what I'm saying? So, and obviously you have to do something that you enjoy as well. Then you will go back for more. Because if you want that person beat you like that, I want to learn how to do that. So you go back. You don't go.
What do you say then? Like, I've seen Bear Man, they get a little bit of training, right? Be it whatever discipline, right? And then all of a sudden, they're throwing their weight around. Now all of a sudden, I kick the head off you and all of this kind of carry on. What's that about?
Debo, say something else.
Do you know what I mean? This kind of
beat him down, beat you down.
I think that's more to do with the attitude of that particular person.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when I was training with for Marvin, there was none of that. Like the rule that we had is if someone hits you, turn and what was it? The 3-time thing you had?
Yeah.
That's what I want to get into. The disciplined mind that you train.
It was like
the concept.
Yeah, it was like you get hit once, you get hit twice.
Yeah.
You hit the 3rd time. If they, if they go for you again, that's it.
Yeah.
And
I've been warning them each time. It's happened to me on the street more than once. Literally, someone's hit me. But in a situation, you have to understand that you have to analyze your situation. If that person hit me once, I didn't feel anything because I turned myself off from neutral, and I'm like, you know what? Don't hit me again. Hits me again, I'll be like, that's your last chance. I might even say, you know what, I do martial arts. You should say that, really. But I might even say, you know, I do martial arts, don't hit me again. Because if you say certain words, you have to understand, you say it's the wrong thing, it will push someone more. Oh, you fight, yeah? So you want to fight. So you have to say, just listen, don't hit me again. Because you know you're going to be in trouble. Whatever.
So if man comes with machete, then what happens? Does that all the rules are out? Like,
different situations. So it depends how
it's a weapon. It's a lethal weapon.
Yeah,
don't chop me.
And is there room for legging it? Like, say man comes at you with a machete and you don't.
At least twice in my life, I've run and the guys, I'm not even joking, someone's holding a knife to me, big kitchen knife, like there's 2 of them in his hand, he's coming towards me and I'm just backing away. The thing is, what's funny about that to me, is I wouldn't turn my back. He's nowhere near me, but I wouldn't turn my back because I was just like, I could feel that knife. So I just kept on walking backwards, and he wouldn't attack me because I think he knew that I do martial arts, and he was worried himself, but he was still trying to come for me. You know? And it just got to a point where the gap just got bigger, and eventually I just turned around and ran. So it depends on your situation. Another situation, someone's attacked me, and I've warned them, and then we just end up rolling on the floor after a while.
Can I say, what would your advice be to a kid who's getting bullied in school, or what advice would you give that kid that's on his own, that's feeling down, he's feeling he's got no friends? How would you advise that kid now if he's looking in watching?
I would say definitely number one, you'd have to tell someone. I know like if it's already happened, it's happened, but still don't keep it to yourself. Tell somebody. I was different when I was younger. I trained in martial arts all my life, but I used to keep things to myself. I wouldn't tell nobody that I was going through all this stuff. I just kind of dealt with myself. But the best thing to do is literally confide in someone that you trust in and tell them. That would be number one. And number two, just try not to be in that situation if you can, if it's possible. Keep yourself busy. When I was fighting every day, literally. I'll go shop, I'm fighting. I was going to buy some milk, people attacking me. I'm not even joking. I can go shop 3 times, I'll fight 3 times. I'll go shop tomorrow, I'm going to fight tomorrow, literally. You know, so I just try and not be in that situation. So that's why I said, you know what, I'm just going to go to class, do a class. And then I'm not there because it takes about 3 years to get a black belt. So I'm 3 years in the gym. I don't see these people no more. So 3 years later, I might bump into them.
So 3 years, like, if you start from like the whole beginning, like in Taekwondo speaking, so to speak.
Yeah.
So you start with what's the colors of the belt that you have there? You have white, obviously, that's like the beginners.
White, yellow, yellow.
Green.
White, yellow, green, yeah. Blue. Red, and black. But there's little stripes in between them.
He was testing me there, what's that yellow? Because he knows I'm green. He was like, yeah.
Well, I've done loads of different martial arts because the belt colours are all different. So karate was like yellow, orange, yellow, green, purple. So, you know, I've got so many belts in my head. I've got literally 3 black belts at home, full of belts of all the martial arts I did.
That's what's up. Because I would have done it, but like I tore my ligaments, and I'm always scared to step into something like that. Because the one thing I wanted to do like badly was jiu-jitsu. Like I wanted to do jiu-jitsu so bad. Like I would go and then just watch those guys I wanted to. But it's just they'll get you into some type of submissions. Like ambulance, no, I'm out. You know, so
it is a lethal martial art, definitely. Even I've been wary. I've trained all my life, and I still worry about them kind of people, you know, because it's one of the best martial arts. You know, a stand-up martial art, I say that one of the best ones would be karate, taekwondo. Taekwondo and karate came from each other. You know, so them two are really lethal. Karate they're really strong. So they talk about the one punch kill and all that, but it's not really a one punch kill. It's just basically, I don't need to fight you. I'm gonna hit you once. You should go down. If you get hit 3 times by a karate person, you should be down. Basically, you know. With taekwondo, it's like the same kind of rule, but you're more likely to get beaten up. You are gonna get beaten up. That's the difference, yeah. But there's still the power and the kicks and all that. It's still that you could just be out for the count straight away.
But you man's using the whole board thing, you know, the board that you just go and crack in the middle, you know, the one that sees on.
Yeah, we were breaking boards.
We do break boards and stuff like that.
Yeah. But how was that, like with your hands and stuff?
Yeah, because
my hands are small.
It was punches as well. We still train with punches as well. We learn. Obviously, we can't just fight like that with our legs everywhere. But you kind of learn.
Yeah.
You're taught, how to break boards a certain way, and I learned a lot. Like I'd recommend though, especially in Euros, get in contact with Master Pond here, Marvin Pond. He is a great teacher. He taught me so much in such a short time, and I'm forever grateful for what you've done for me. You know.
How long until you got?
At the moment, see what happened is I had to pull away from it. You know, with new kids and so on, and other personal commitments. But I'm definitely coming back at some stage.
So like until you got your green thing, cause you're white, yellow, and then green, yeah.
Green. It's a matter of I'm green. It's a matter of the time that you can be persistent at it. Because if I went back, I'd be going back. Marvin would put me back as a white belt. Yeah. I'd have to prove that.
So it's about how much time you put in.
So
consistently.
The discipline is there.
I would have to go through the basics again.
Yeah, so
because you need that refresher to catch up with yourself. Right. Because otherwise you can start from the green up, but then you're missing the basics of how it started, and you just have to remind yourself. So.
Is that ceremony when you guys get the belt?
There's a ceremony in the club.
Oh, made it.
Certificate,
But do you think these disciplines, right? Like how, and obviously I know where to go with this, but how positive do you think this would be, if kids took on these kind of disciplines, right? Because you look around, like in most cities, people, kids are taking up all of these kind of habits, they're fighting, stabbing each other and whatnot.
Especially if you come from, I don't know what other teachers are teaching, but if you come from my school, you're basically saving your kid's life because, like you're saying, they could be on the streets doing other things, But soon, even if they are what you want to call them, friggin' bad boy, druggy, whatever you want to call them, but they come and train in my school, they will learn not to do that because I will tell them. You know what I'm saying? I would tell them, I would help them as well and point them in the right direction, even if it's learning to drive a car or something like that, or get to college. I would help them in that situation.
So there's a discipline code on the whole
Yeah.
your classes.
Some people you can't help, but you can still point and it still gives them something. It gives them a little bit, at least. Even if they still go back to the streets and do what they're doing, but they're still in their head that, you know, there's a way to behave. You know what I'm saying?
So say like man like me, yeah, I come to your school, right?
Fam,
But
no one
then
can save
I
you.
still.
No one can
you see this
save
man?
you.
Yeah, he picking on me.
No,
alright.
it's cool, it's cool.
Fair
Hey,
enough.
go to school.
Yeah.
Now, but say for instance, right? Man join your school, right? But they can. So obviously, there's rules that they have to adhere to, like you don't get into no street fights and this kind of stuff. Yeah. So, like, how many strikes is there, and what happens if they keep breaking the rules? Do you kick them out?
Do you know what,
Because
yeah, I don't know what I do as a teacher, but I must be doing something right because I've never been in that situation.
Mm.
If the person's bad and they come to me, they will leave as a normal person. They won't be as bad as they were before, you know. And they might even wake up and go, you know what, I need to do this. One boy, example, he was just crazy. Nobody wanted him in the class. This is in the class, not I was teaching, but I was training when I was younger. And I stopped by him. And, you know, I said, I believe in you, come on. We went to Germany and everything, and everyone just kind of just left him. And I stayed with him. I went and had food with him, went and trained with him. The guy started winning his fights. Then he got himself a job. When we went back to London, he got himself a job, this, that. So that kind of pushed him in the right direction. All he needed is a friend.
someone to believe in him. Yeah.
I was much older than him, but I was like, yeah, I'll be a friend. You know what I'm saying? It's just like helping others. I believe in helping others, you know. A lot.
So you think then, is that always a facade then when, you know, when someone's acting out, you know, like, you know, that whole bad boy mentality? Do you think it's a facade that someone is missing out? Maybe they didn't have a father figure,
I think that starts from home. Yeah.
you know, there's always something missing.
Yeah, I wouldn't even like to put a pinpoint on that, but I know what you're saying, definitely. And it's probably something like that, yeah. But I wouldn't say exactly what, because I don't know the situation. But something's not happy in their life, basically. You know? Maybe it's not even someone's missing. They just need to do martial art. They need to be physical and do something like that. You know,
check out that aggression or burn off some energy or something like that.
Yeah, that's cool. I was gonna ask you, man, just for us to just like finish this whole topic, move on to a different topic. So I often wonder, because I'm a, like often when I do like podcasts, it's like, look already looking at me. What's this guy about to ask? Drum roll, please. No, because like I'll sit down and I'm like I'll think about the weird stuff because I'm very unorthodox. You understand? I'll have like a free thinking. Jerome knows this. I'll just come in and just blurb something and we start talking about. Bro, what about these scenarios? Because I often like find myself in position where I'm like, if I ever find myself in this position, I should act accordingly because I don't want to look like, you know, like a fool,
like a punk.
Yeah, or anything like that. All humans have kids. All humans have like girlfriends or wife or fiancés. You guys don't have to chime in, but whoever chimes in, chimes in. Right? Listen, you're in the club, right? And you're there with your wife or your significant other, whatever the case is. You're having drinks, and then you had too much to drink, and you say, "Listen, I'm going to the loo. I'm going to pee, and I'll be right back." Leave your wife or whatever your partner there. You come back, there's another man chatting your girl. How do you react? Not specifically violently, but how do you move?
See, there's so many ways to look at that. I'll be the first one to jump in on that one. There's so many ways to look at that, and depending on where you choose to cast your mind towards, right? Now, one person can choose to look at it, yo, my wife is got it going on, yeah, see that man, yeah? He trying them things on, yeah? But I still get to go home with my wife. Because anyway, do you know what I mean? You could choose to look at it that way. Or you could just step in and tell your man, yo, fam, get to stepping. Or you could hand out a few slaps, right? You know, so it
depends who you with, though.
Yeah, it's and you know, in most cases it depends on how secure you are with your relationship with your significant other.
Who is the person?
Yeah, so
with?
if you're secure about that relationship, right, you're hardly gonna overreact.
Yeah, I agree with that, but there's one factor that we haven't spoke about.
Yeah.
In that situation, how much have you had to drink? Because I found myself in a situation like that before, right? And I was there, and I went up, and there was a guy chatting up the missus, etc. And I was like, "What's going on here?" And I had too much to drink. And I went, "Yeah, you fucking." And the next minute, the bouncers come on, and oh God! And then she said, "That's my cousin." And I was like, "Oh
Yeah, what is
Yeah,
that
but you
machismo?
see,
You see,
this
I
happens
don't
to
know.
pretty
It's-
much every fella has had this
So-
happen to
so
them.
embarrassing.
Nah, not
Yeah,
me, fam. Not
but
me.
look, it happens.
Do you know what happened with mine? Alright, listen. So, boom. Long story short, I'm with Shorty, and we haven't been together for a very long time. And she's one of those free floaters. I don't mean to offend anybody by this, but she's one of them. Like, okay, we're in the stage, like we're not boyfriends and girlfriend, but we're just like enjoying each other's space.
Okay.
So, which means she knows. You understand? When I got to her, I was this guy who was talking to mad girls, and mad boys were coming after her. You understand? So, like, I often have situation when I seen that happen, I'll pause at the back. I watch the whole thing. Like, I'm willing to watch the whole thing because I think that reveals what kind of person she is. Because that's why I say it depends on the person who you with. Like, there's times when I've been with a person that I've been together for like 9 months or whatever, and I'll just like get the drinks and I'll just chill in one corner because I know she's gonna hand up. I was like, yo, did you give him your number? I was like, yeah, give me the fake number. Oh, the one we're talking about. Yeah, and then we laughed about it and then we move on. But in this case, you know, I pause and watch, hang back, and see what happens. You understand? Because you can tell from how the person is gonna react, what they're gonna do, and stuff like that. Now, there's also times when I'm thinking, like in my head, I'm like, yo, I should just go there and be like, yo, man, what you? Like, just like go in there, punch him in the face. I'm like, yo, that's like immature. Like that mean, because like you wanna look like a punk, so I'm just gonna like sit back, watch the whole scene happening, see.
At
but
the
you know
same
what?
time, that
Yeah.
makes you look soft.
No,
And it
no,
makes-
no, 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 no.
No, it does. It makes you look like you don't care about her.
Yeah.
If there's some guy going up chatting to your missus, right?
But what if she
You're in the
look- it
club,
depends how
he's
she
chatting
looks
and putting his arm
No,
around.
no, but
What
you
if she
see,
looks like she's
No.
enjoying it?
Huh? If she looks like she's
shouldn't be your
enjoying
girl.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She shouldn't be yours.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I
What you
think
do?
I think sometimes when you hang back and watch it, somehow it says you know, from someone looking at the situation right from the outside, yeah, they might think that you're insecure in the first place about your situation.
Especially when you come
You
by
know.
your girl, you're like, hey babes, what's going on? You put the arm around. Bro,
When they
that's a
talk.
corny move.
Yeah,
When you
so-
come and then you're like,
Yeah.
hey, what's going on?
It kinda,
Hey, darling,
You
come
know-
on, let's go.
you know, they say I think is it 80% of our communication is body language.
Yeah,
80%. You know, so the rest of it, yeah, we up when we shoot our mouth off, but the rest of it is your body language. That's why someone is able to tell just before you get into a fight. Someone tells, oh yeah, this boy nervous now. Okay, all right, so I know what to do. Do you know what I mean? Because your body language is already raking off. Oh yeah, no, I'm scared of this boy. I ain't gonna fit into fight.
If that's happened to you,
Yeah.
you could literally just walk there, up to both of them.
Yeah.
Not literally stand in the middle between them, but
Yeah.
just stand with them and say, "You saying?"
Yeah, well gone.
That's a normal, yeah. That's
Yeah.
a normal
That's
way
join
to
the
be.
conversation.
Yeah,
That's
join
what
the
I
conversation.
said.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
You ready to bust? Yeah. Okay, come we go. Then, because you just stand there and say that and don't move. You might go, "Oh, is that your girl?" You realise straight away. And you just leave
Yeah,
it.
man. Watch.
You know,
We just
so-
go there, be friendly, and be like, hey, yeah, I got you some drink. Yo, what's going on, man? And then just
Yeah.
mention, what's going on? Yeah, So you're talking about, yeah.
I don't get me wrong now.
We live
There
and
is
learn. We live
situations.
and learn, you
There
know,
is
we live and
situations where some boys are so disrespectful.
Yeah, they're gonna tell you to move straight
Yeah,
away. Like,
you know,
doing?
Goblin
I
guys,
don't
man.
care.
Goblin
It's like,
niggas, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, what?
some situations, some boys are so disrespectful.
But I just, sorry, go on.
and you know, but you know, I suppose for me, yeah, like what you were saying, yeah, I've pushed a boy before, but I rarely catch myself in situations where I almost get into a fight. I'm not the fighting type. That's not my MO.
You're not ready.
I don't do
I'm
that
not
kind
a
of
fighting type. He's a fighting type. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Okay, now we're getting to it. But it's in some situations, some boys cross so many lines that you're forced. How do I put this? They force your hand, basically.
Yeah. There's a factor as well, which means that the female, your partner, your fiance, wife, significant other, she has to appreciate that her man is there. And what does she expect? You're just gonna sit there and just watch some guy coming up, putting his arm around your missus and drunk and talking in her face. Nah, just
But
get
then,
out of the
lads,
way,
But I
pal.
think
Move off
your
and do
missus
your
will know
own
who
thing.
you are, and she
Yeah.
will tell him straight away.
Yeah.
You're not my man's here, man. He's coming
Yeah,
back in a
like
minute.
there's a certain amount of like you know, there's a certain amount of respect that your missus has to have for you to not allow that to happen, to not allow some guy to be drooling all over her and falling, chatting. You know,
doesn't even get
because
to
he has to act like she's yours or she's.
Because
You know what I
reality
mean?
of this, you know, I think females get hit on more than boys get hit on, right?
Oh, yeah.
Speak
No,
for
no, no.
yourself. Speak for yourself.
Hey, I don't know about that.
Okay, y'all gonna front, yeah. But y'all know the truth. Y'all know the truth. Oh, see, now he's propping himself, yeah. I mean, cut that bullshit, right?
It's cool. Go on. Yeah, they get
No,
girls
girls get hit on more than boys, right? And I think regardless of whether you're in a club setting, yeah, I think it's fair to know that your missus will get hit on regardless of whether or not you're
That's
there,
true.
right?
Yeah.
Now,
do we ever think of that when you go and be like, yo, my missus gonna get hit on?
no, but then this is the fucked up bit, yeah. When a fella gets hit on, yeah, he comes home, yeah, singing all Barry White and all of this. He's feeling all he's feeling.
That's
I
not
still
true.
got it.
Fam, that's not true. That's not true. I had situation where, like, I think this is the time when I started like really feeling how females felt. You know, I had situation when I go in the club in Wexford, you understand, and then I'll be like, you know, passing by, and then you just see random ass grabbing, you just passing by. It was cool at first. You turn around, you don't see anyone. It's like, yeah, someone just grabbed my ass. After a while, we're just like, yo, this is sexual harassment.
The woman has to know how to handle herself,
but,
how to look after herself, how to respect, have her own boundaries.
Exactly, but like,
you know, she shouldn't be all down
she
to
should
the
be able
guy.
to look after herself. Like, I mean, that's the point I wanted to get.
Now that's interesting what you just mentioned. I'm sorry to cut you short, Fab. Yeah, it's interesting that if a fella, say you were in a club, right? If a fella grab a girl's ass, right, you'll get kicked out of the club. But if a girl grab your ass, nothing happens. Do you ever find that that's the situation? Because if you bear girls who smack your ass in a club, right? And that's grand. You smack but one girl's ass if she don't want to be smacked on the ass. And you catch trouble. Do you know what I mean? So there's a reverse sexist thing there, right?
I don't know what it is. It's like respect women, innit?
Yeah.
You obviously have to respect the man, but
yeah,
it's a bit more free with the man. You know what I'm saying? So you could do that. You know, like because the other day, back in time, like they used to put the women away, innit? Like you stay home, I go to work. You know,
yeah.
Back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now it's changed. Now they're out there, and they are on the in the same areas as you say. You have to respect them more. So you can't be doing that to them.
But then shouldn't that go both ways?
Yeah,
shouldn't it be a two-way
We're all
traffic?
seeking equality. Like I'm with Jerome here.
It should really.
Because I mean, if we're speaking of, you know, equality, then shouldn't it be a two-way traffic? I mean, look, I'm all for respecting women, right?
Yeah.
But I feel there's certain things that, like, you know, that like that the scenario I just painted. I think that's crossing the line equally, and I think I should have the right, to be like, yo, because this is my body. Don't touch this.
I'll give you a scenario. I don't mean to cut you, bro. I did cut you. I'll give you a scenario. I was. I think it was a while back. We were at a party. You understand? And, you know, this chick. I think I was with someone back then. So I'm just chilling my ones, trying to, you know, vibe. Your friends invite you to a party where you don't really want to go, but you kind of go because your friends are there, blah, blah, blah. The chick approaches you, you know, someone that you kind of like know, but you're like, she's cool. So she's like drinking and stuff. She's like, listen, man, come over here. And you guys are dancing. Then she start grabbing your private parts. I think that was around the same time when all this was happening to me. It's like I was going to transition. I was like, if I did that to a female, right, and just go like, yo, or even up the top here, bruv, that's like basic. I'm going to jail for that.
They call you Donald Trump.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah,
Grabbed by the pussy.
yeah, I'm going to
Donald
jail
Trump
for that.
style. Yeah.
And it was like multiple times. I'm like, bruv, like stop. You know what I mean? And I was like, I had to like remove myself from that place and then just go a bit farther and then just stand from there for the whole night. And I was like, for the first time in my life, like I was like, I really like I hear about a female. I have sisters, obviously. I mean, I don't. But like for the first time, I was like, this must be horrible for women. Like,
Yeah, but you see, then you flip that. Yeah, now I'm playing devil's advocate here, right? if you flip that, right, like if you look at a scenario, like, you know, if a fella has so many girls, right, he's considered the Mac Daddy, right? But if a girl has so many fellas, then she's considered a whore. Do you know what I mean? She a tramp, she whatever, right? All kinds of, you know, all kinds of these negative names. But then if a fella has so many girls, he's the man.
From why you keep switching teams, man? You were
Yeah,
like,
no,
the
no,
guy
that's like that saying.
but
Wasn't
yeah.
it a lock? What is it? A key that opens many locks.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a great key.
But
a lock.
something, it's a shitty lock.
Yeah.
Mr. Miyagi, I seen that.
You know,
No, but
I think
we have to look at both sides of this thing. So I mean, look, everything. I think for me, everything has a double standard to it, right? It depends on how you choose to look at it, right? And I think in every scenario you find yourself in, you stand a chance of coming across hypocritical, depending on how you react to a particular situation. Because, and I'll give you a scenario, right? Earlier on, we was talking about the vaccine, right? Now, so many of us is dying to get back to normality, right? Now, if someone guaranteed you normality and it's through the vaccine, right? Because I've caught myself thinking, do you know what? Yeah, if the vaccine brings back normality, yeah, boy, I'm sick of being in the house, right? That's hypocritical of me because I spit venom when it comes to vaccine, right? But because I'm craving normality so bad, yeah, I actually consider the fact around the vaccine.
That's what the whole world's doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why when they say, are you going to take the vaccine? The answer's going to be yeah, because you don't want to be locked in home. And if the majority take it and you don't, that's what I'm saying, you're going to be locked up and you won't be able to catch a bus, go on a train, you won't be able to travel on a boat. So you have to stay here.
I just want to ask, are you all craving, you guys all want for the normality to be back and stuff? Are you guys all for
This is unnatural, fam. We, as human, as a race, you know, as creatures, because we are of the animal kingdom, right? And we're designed as social creatures. We're not designed to be alone. You know what?
I hate people.
You know this.
I
No,
do.
but try.
I'm enjoying it. I'm saving money. Bro,
But they say
the lands in
you
Africa
can
are cheap.
only stay on your own for a particular period of time
that's true,
until you start losing your mind. You start going doolally. Do you know
That's
what
why
I mean?
they send people to prison, you know.
Yeah, they put them in solitary confinement
Yeah.
for that one reason.
You
because
lose
it
your fucking mind.
does that.
And this is unnatural. And look, since this whole lockdown situation started, now you see us here, we're lucky. We're lucky as fuck that we have this outlet. Do you know how much of a release this is? Because we're able to get away from the mess and, you know, just chat away and whatever we get off our chest and whatever. And we might not even realize what we're doing because we're just having a chat and we're doing our podcast, but we actually self-healing through doing this. But there's man out there that locked in a house and they're drinking themselves stupid. And what's that resulted into? Now they've resorted to fist fights with the missus, you know, because of frustration and all of this kind of carry on. And there's a lot of that.
I think that's a coward's way for someone to be able to not to be like I can't speak for you guys obviously because you guys you have kids and your fathers, you know, and you guys like I envy you guys for you guys to be able to like bring a child into the world and then say like, okay, cool, like I'm gonna raise these kids and have, because I have fears of like just being like, especially in this world, I look into like every specific thing, like I pay attention to a lot of stuff, and when it comes to things when I know whatever I do, my kid is gonna be black regardless. It's gonna be, if I have a child with an Asian woman, it's just gonna be black. It's gonna be look up on the black, classified as black. You understand? And bring him up to this world, and then to be able to see someone that you care so much about, and to be able to put him out there and say like, oh, listen, you're gonna have to watch out for this. You're gonna have to be, bro. That whole thought process just it puts me into a situation where I feel really fucked up. Like that breaks my heart, and that's what puts me in a position thinking like, bro, I can never like I feel afraid for me to go there and like have kids and then be able to like deal with this You understand? I'm gonna be like, if I ever become a father, I'm gonna be like one of those fathers that gonna be constantly worried. You understand? That my kid is at school.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, I'll tell you like this, and I'm quite sure the lads will agree with me on this. Yeah. The first few weeks when you come home from, when in the delivery room, that's tough. You're mad scared, and then first few weeks you bring the child home. Yeah, you're worried. You can barely sleep because you want to make sure they are asleep and they're breathing and all of this. But all of that fades away, and you start to relax into it because it's an interesting experience, because you see this little person grow and they have no sense of danger, right? They launch themselves off the couch, right? And you literally have to go and grab them.
But they know you're going to be there to catch them.
And that's it. And that's the best you can do. The rest of it, you worry. Look, obviously you have to look out, but they are going to do what they do, regardless of what. You did what you did. Do you know what I mean?
I think you make a great dad, man.
I don't think that's enough.
The fact that you're worrying about
I analyze everything that happened to me as a child. Like I analyzed every messed up things. Like I analyzed how I found sexuality, like by myself. I analyzed how I went out there in the world, how I could have done so many things. I don't regret that, obviously, because I'm the person that I am today. How I could have done so many things in my life. At a certain particular time, I didn't do it.
But that's why you coach your kid the right way. Everything you missed out on, but everything you missed out on, you have to point your kids in the right direction. Say, you know what, go this way. Maybe you don't need to say exactly what, but you know what, do this, and that's it. And the story, or you tell them the story. Say, you know what, this is what happened to me. This is what you need to do. You get me? And give them the option, because you can't force them. You can force them if you want, because I know there's parents out there force their kids to do things. But instead of doing that, you could just give them the option, and it's up to them. Take which path you want. You just keep your fingers crossed and hope they go that way. And if they go the opposite way, you just have to support them in that. And the thing is, you will like accept it. You would have to accept whatever's happening. I know what you're saying now, but whatever you're saying, you just have to accept what's happening and go with it. But be there, but be there right then. You know what I'm saying? Be there right. So.
And then you will, as a parent, you will make mistakes. No parent is gonna sit here and tell me they've not made mistakes. But it's that when you see your child, like, I'll give you an example, right? And this is a little example into how kids learn by showing and stuff. My little one, right? When he started crawling, he would just launch himself off the bed, right? So what I did, I started turning his legs, right? To point to the ground. Now he's figured out. He turns himself and he gets off the bed and off he goes. You see what I'm saying? And that's it. That's all you can do. And trust me, he fell a couple times off the fucking bed. But that's part of the head first. You know, that's part of the trick.
But my point was bringing into that, because you were talking about that, and I had to go into that because I was just looking at you guys like, oh, these guys are all fathers. I am not. I'm like the only rookie here. You understand? The point I was bringing off that when we talk about females and stuff like that, because we're talking about sexual harassment and all that, and you have to respect women and all that kind of stuff. I often quite wonder, when it gets to a point where do you think women are treated a certain way because of that value? Yeah, because of that value. You know, the value that they have. Females are females. They are this thing that we're putting into the world for men. You understand? Or nowadays, obviously, you have people that have feelings towards man, female, whatever. But what I'm trying to say is, does that get lost in translation farther down the years when we get to a point where, say for instance, the sexual harassment stops? Not that I'm tolerating, the whole thing stopped, and we are at the equal line. You understand? And everybody is existed in a way, say
You're talking about Utopia. I can answer that. That ain't never gonna happen.
You think so?
Nah,
it's
come on now.
Because like I said, when the women had to work their way up to be able to work, basically. They weren't allowed to work. They had to stay home and stuff like that. And then eventually had to fight. And when they get to work, they had to fight for the positions. Yeah, so it's the same thing with the sexual harassment. The men have been doing it for years already. So now you got to do the same thing. You've got to fight if you don't want to be harassed by a woman, because before you were doing all the harassment. You know what I'm saying? Not you in particular, but I'm saying men in general. They do it to each other. You get me? So when a woman does it to you, you got to either accept it, and if you don't accept it, then you have to say, you know what, we have to start changing things and start going, you know what, this is not, we have to be equal. You don't like to be touched, I don't like to be touched. You know, so there's some guys out there that if a woman pinched their bum, they'd be like, yeah, that's cool. And then there's other guys that will be like, no, I'm taking to court, sexual harassment.
Oh yeah,
that's me right there. The third time when they pinch me, I had enough of this.
So it's going to take time. So that's like you one person say. So it's going to take time for the rest of the world to fall in and go, oh, you know what? Yeah, we want that for men now. Yeah. So it's only one man saying it or two men saying it, but now the whole world's saying it. Then it becomes a thing. Then it becomes equal. But like Jerome said, it's hardly going to be that. It's just like a bit like racism. Because you can't take out, it's been washed away from, if we can talk about slavery, it's been washed away eventually. Yeah. But there's still racism because the parents say are racist and then they're telling their kids. All right. So that still gets passed on. Even if it's a little bit, it still gets passed on. So you still have that little bit of racist, you know. The only way you can take away racism right now early is if you put them on a different planet, two different cultures on the planet, and you don't tell them nothing about racism, and you just talk and live. They won't know what racism is.
And that's no one's coming to save us. Like,
no, and that's going to take time. It could be like,
or maybe Predator will come through.
And if you want it to be equal, you have to take a couple people to another planet.
I don't know. I kind of partially agree with what you said.
Yeah.
But if you put a duck in a farmyard, right, with a load of chickens, right?
I gotta catch my air. I'm burning. Yeah, I burn easy. Sorry.
Go ahead. When you come back, we'll get you, man. Go ahead.
Yeah.
But if you put...
Sorry, mate.
I think you passed there, right?
Boom. Oh,
try and cut that there.
No,
but anyway, if you put a duck inside a farmyard, right, with a load of chickens, that duck is going to feel isolated. That duck is not... The duck will think it's a chicken.
Yeah.
But the chickens will look at that duck and say, you're not the same as me. Do you know what I mean? So it's not only a human thing, it's within different species as well, you know.
But is that definitely right?
Even it is.
Nobody's telling them chickens that they're chickens.
Yeah, no, I know, but they look. But they
someone just came in and said, "Listen, we pinpoint this. We might win, have an advantage. Let's tell them they're chicken, they're dogs. They let them fight each other, and we win." Someone's saying that. But
the thing is, right. You probably might have heard of the golden apes, right? There's these golden apes. They're born. I don't know if they're what is the word again? My head brain is gone. Do you know when the genes, not the genes, the DNA, there's a different kind of I don't know, but like there's a white. We say the ape came up white, right? And then you've got all the normal black, you know, fur apes, and then that one ape will be singled out. You know, it would be singled out, and it would be beaten, and it would be treated differently, and so on and so forth. It's the same with humans.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, we're not animals. We are, as Jerome said, we are a species of animals, but we have to, you know, think above that. If I've got a black football here, and I've got a white football here, are you going to say, oh, I like the black football better, or I like the white football? They're both footballs. Go and play football. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Like it's racism to me. It's below my level of comprehension. As we were talking earlier, you come from a family of, you know, different people, different you know, different backgrounds and so on. So do I as well. And you know, so you probably have more of an understanding than a lot of people about what I'm trying to say, because you have more of an acceptance, because you've got people in your family who are, as you said, I don't know, Chinese and etc., Indian and black and white. Same as me, like, you know. So there has to be, like, it has to come to them. Racism is ignorance, nothing more. That's what it is. It's ignorance, and people are sick of ignorance now, because we are now in the year 2020. We are an elevated species. If we're going to say, oh right, okay, I don't like you, why? Because of your color. That is just, there's no rationale there.
Answer this question now. Yeah.
I think that deserves a round of applause, guys. Come on.
Definitely.
We're not the Norwich shows. Chill. This is not the Norwich champs.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's getting washed away, yeah. you want it to happen now, take them to another planet. But I bet if you watch it with your eyes, you can see that everybody is now mixing. Everyone's now mixing. So is there going to be, in like 50 years, one color?
That's a chat.
Yo, I was looking
that's
into
a
that.
possibility,
I thought it into that. What if the mixed race, they're the one that kind of rule it? Because I look at them like, you guys are the future. You don't even know you guys are the future. Like, I think we're living a time where we underestimate that there's, you know, we're going to go and then there's going to be a new, you know, batch coming in and then they're going to take over, blah, blah, blah. I always look at it and say that, you listen, like mixed race kids are going to take over and that's going to be like the new thing. Whether that's going to go left or whatever, that's yet to be concurred. But like, I wanted to challenge you guys and ask you guys, like, what you guys think if, you know that whole thing you said about the planet thing? Like the way black people get treated, you put it into a different, like imagine one day just everybody that's black just left, you know, and you're like, yeah, you were like on a different planet, Pluto or whatever. Pluto's not a planet, but like Mars or whatever. Well, we're not gonna get into it, bro. You know, quantum physics, bro. We're cool. Like imagine if you go into a different planet, what happens? What do you think is going to be? This is me just doing hypothetical. What do you think is going to be missed? Because I know there's going to be loads to be missed.
But I think the question should not be that.
And wait, just before people kill me, anyone can come. As long as you're not racist. Like, there's like a metal detector when you go in there, beep, 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 he's racist, go back.
For me, my thinking is this, right? I think we've gone so far, this racial divide thing, right? Obviously not instigated by black people, right? Given our history, right? But we've gone so far down this racial history, right? That it sort of feels like we're repeating the same mistakes, right? Only in reverse. And let me explain, right? Now, if you look at a country like South Africa, right? Apartheid, right? But now, right? During apartheid, white folk were in charge, right? Now tables have turned, right? Now white people are in charge, right? And if you notice, there are white people living in desperate situations, right? And some people will say rightfully so. Do you know what I mean? Given their history, right? And understandably so as well, right? But in my perception, ain't you doing the same thing that you know that person done to you? How do two wrongs make a right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they don't. You see, the problem there is like what you brought up is the balance. Like it's not really about the skin color. It's about like this person here wants to be better than that person, and I think it's regardless of color. There's always going to be people striving for better and better for their family, regardless what color their family is or where your heritage is.
Yeah, we understand that competition be able, like people do that within their own race. Black people do that mostly, like, but I don't think that should ever, like, race shouldn't come in, colorism or whatever shouldn't come in between. Yeah, let's compete about, oh, I have a better camera than you, I have a better laptop, I have better shoes, better cars. That's fine, that's all fine, that's normal, whatever. You understand? But it should never come to like, oh, I think you're this color, you don't deserve to be. Nah, bro. Like, just like you say, like, yeah, that's cool. Let's compete about that. But whenever it came to like race and stuff like color, and for me, I always say, I feel, specifically in Ireland, I feel that the parents here, people that are older than me, that are in the 50s or in the 60s, most of them fail to educate their kids on culture and racism. I'll tell you this why. Because when the famine thing was happening with the potato, you know, they were getting like, you know, in fact, that was like the COVID-19, you can say. Back in the days when loads of people died, they flee down to America, and you know, and they went there and they were treated like, you know, no dogs, no blacks, no Irish,
was in England,
whatever. You understand? I feel like there was a miscommunication from those people that went there. They failed to let you listen. There are mad races over here against Irish people. So for me, I expect like, when I see someone racist and I'm like, you're Irish and you're racist, I feel like your ancestors failed you, bro. Because, bro,
But
you're the last person to be.
But you see, we're missing one thing in that equation as well, right? That applies to us of African descent as well, right? Because if my history serves me right, it was the African chiefs that sold their people to slavery.
True.
Right? So in that respect, our ancestors failed us.
Because,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because going back as well, I said people striving to better themselves and to make more money and so on. Like, it's easy for me to say, oh yeah, you know, black people are best. You know, you guys are the best. It's easy to say, oh yeah, white people are the best. You are white. It doesn't matter, man. It really doesn't matter where you're from. Once you're in your situation, you make the best of the situation you are in, regardless of how you think other people perceive you. As simple as that, right? And the thing about it is, I'm seen as a mixed race guy, right? At the end of the day, I'm a black guy.
Hang on a minute.
At the end of the day, like, I'm a black guy. When I'm walking down the road, oh, there's a black guy. They don't say, oh, there's a mixed race guy. Do you know what I mean? So me being me, I had the balance of, I love my nan, she's white. I love my brother. I love, you know, these different people in your family who are, you know, it doesn't matter when. So you can kind of strive for perfection. You know what I mean? As you are, because you can kind of, as I say, swing both ways, and you have less to worry about. You know, oh, I'm white. They might get offended if they think I'm racist. Oh, I'm black. They're racist. When you're in the middle, right? You can just feel. I can feel you can just strive for perfection and somehow let some of it brush off your shoulders and think. You know, why are these people thinking like that?
Facts.
Why are those people thinking like that? And that's what makes you get the Tiger Woods. You know, that's what makes you get the Louis Hamiltons, etc., etc. You know what I mean? Like a lighter kind of skin or whatever, like a Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? It doesn't make a difference. Well, I don't like. For me, sitting with you guys, I don't care what color you are, black, white, yellow. It doesn't matter to me. You know, it doesn't matter to me. It will never matter to me. And I'm happy that I can just, like, I have had certain situations where, you know, people are, you're not black enough. You know, black is like, said, you're not black enough. And the white is like, you're not white enough. You know what I mean? And I don't care anymore.
That bothers me, how people choose and define what blackness is about, and how or what it means for someone to be black enough. That phrase there pisses me off. Like, what does it mean to be black enough? What do you do to qualify to be black enough? What does that actually mean? Because in reality, if we're to go back, way back on historical lens, right, you will find that if everyone was to read up and go way back, you might find that this whole black and white does not actually exist. You know, it's just people
migration.
People migrate and ended up on different hemispheres of the planet where weather is kind of different, so the shades of skin switched a little bit, and over a period of time they switched and the pigment ends up to what we see right now. Do you know what I mean? And like we were talking, you remember there's a podcast we did. It's you know, instead of focusing so much, and I think black people do this so many times, we so focused on what is racist. Like, I heard someone tell me one time, oh, you know what I hate most is someone asking me where I'm from. But you know, if you examine that, isn't that someone taking interest in where you're actually from, right? Why do we always have to go to a place of judgment? It's someone trying to spark a conversation with you. Do you know what I mean? And how is someone meant to know you if they don't ask questions?
Yeah, but when you suffer from racism multiple times and you have like major PTSD, that's the only place where you can go.
But
let's face it though, right?
we're talking about.
Who's suffering from racism?
No. But there's people that went through mad racism. You understand? And the only thing they can do.
Who are those people?
The only
like let's no. Let me just say it, because like basically, no, hold on a second. What I'm trying to say, right, is that this is not the UK, right? I've lived in London, right, and I've seen guys in tight jeans, skinheads, bomber jackets, giving out leaflets, and at National Front, we hate you, blacks at you.
They've all
This
gone past
Ireland is okay. People, what's happening? What I'm trying to say, okay, let me finish. What I'm trying to say is that Ireland is not on that level yet. There's a lot of work to do, right? But it's not on the level where you've got people standing out on the corner shouting, "Get out of this country!"
No, it is not. Right, I'm saying it is not. I'm saying it is not. But if you're like Marvin here, and you come, say if you come from UK, where that level of racism is there, and you come over here, he spoke about it before. He said when he came over here, he was blasting his music into the sky, and then these kids were laughing.
No. That ain't got nothing to do with no racism.
In the day, though. Don't get me wrong. I know. It was back in the day. They got kicked out of Brick Lane. They got kicked out of Brick Lane by Indian, by black, by white, by Chinese, because they're racist.
No,
that was it. Racists are lower than the law.
Listen to what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say, I was trying to use an example. I'm not saying that's the same scenario. I'm using his PTSD scenario. You see, he looked at it and he saw something familiar from back here. They said, "Yeah, yo, this man's like he brought to a place where he was before." What I'm saying is, if you have someone who comes from where he comes from, and then over here, obviously, none of the kids say, "Oh, no, we just like your car and stuff." That's all. And over here,
it's different. That's why you did say that.
Over here, you come and they ask you, "Where you from?" Why are you asking me? Do you understand? People react like that. What I'm trying to say, people react like that because it's the past experience. You can't ignore that. You understand? It's the same thing if I give you an example. Say, for instance, let's say you're in a new relationship, and the last relationship, your one cheated on you or whatever, and she went off 2 days, she wasn't texting you. This new girl does the same thing. She goes off for a day, she's not texting you, but she was instead like in a hospital or something that she had a very valid reason. You won't help, you can't help but just go into that part where you think, oh, this is happening again.
I hear you on that, but that's where we need to switch our mentality on things. Instead of always, because look, once you keep doing that, I understand trauma. I come from the most humble backgrounds, and my upbringing was, for the most part, the worst, right? Not gonna go into all of that, but I refuse to let that define who I am.
But because some people don't have the strength to do that.
Once you keep going back and forth into that, you'll find yourself into that cycle, and then your kids will be drawn into that cycle, and it continues, and your great-grandkids, where does it end? So you have to draw the line somewhere. Yeah, that happened to me, right? But you look around you, what's happening right now? How do I change that from ever happening to someone? Then you stand up as a solid person, not always jumping to a place of, oh, that's racist, that's racist. I mean, look, in Ireland, granted, we have institutional racism, right? At worst, it's institutional. And you have pockets of, blatant racism here and there, right? And that, that's...
I don't think it's institutional. I think it's more a lack of understanding and an ignorance.
That's it.
Between people. That is it right there. When you say institutional, you look at USA, you look at they had slavery.
No, but you know what?
There's no black slaves ever been in Ireland.
But you know what? For me to say institutional,
bro, look up in your history. Sorry, Black History Month. Black History. Who's that? Who's the guy who came to Cork? Who came to Cork and they were going to fight against? Not Roy King, bro. The guy who from America.
What, the boxer, is it?
No, not the boxer. It was a slave from America. I'm forgetting his name.
He came to fight though, and he got the love of the people. The guy I read about that about 3 weeks ago.
In Cork, Black History Month. Black History Month.
Yeah,
I forgot his name.
Yeah, but on Facebook.
Ireland didn't outright carry or own slaves because Ireland was a stop center, right? So when slaves were coming through, they would stop in Ireland, and there'll be some of them will go into England and some of them to the Virgin Islands and whatnot, depending on where they would distribute it towards. So for the most part, Ireland, because if you have your history right, Ireland, the Irish themselves were practically slaves. You know where the term
That's
peckerwood comes from.
That's why I say I don't understand when I see a guy literally, because don't say there's
because
no
they
racist
don't
people.
understand their history. That's why I said it. That's
Yeah,
why we said about
exactly.
ignorance. This is the problem, you know. So people have to be educated and know more about themselves and their history before they start saying, "Oh, look what happened in the USA. Oh, that can happen here." You know, the president of the USA feels a certain way. Oh, yeah, we should feel that way as well. And a lot of it is down to the presidential choice in the USA, which has made certain people think a certain way. It's made certain people get a little bit, feel that they're a little bit better or a little bit braver or whatever, you know. But it's not, because the election the election was done, and at the end of the day, there's more right-minded people in the USA than there is racist people. And racism is a form of ignorance.
For me, I often wonder this, right? And I look at the US. I've only touched the US a little bit, right? So I don't know much, right? But what the sense I get off of that country, right? It feels like there's way much more ignorance in the US masses than there is actual awareness, because of the way they respond to things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's instilled.
You can almost feel it off of their energy, because, you know, between Trump and Biden, right? Using that example, right? Who would I go for? I rather not say, because I mean, if you choose Biden, you're going for, you know, for the less of two evils, right? Is he even gonna make a change? That's to be seen. Do you know what I mean?
Can I ask you guys a question? I know you three are fathers and stuff like that, and to confirm, all of you guys have kids of two race combined, mixed race. I don't know if it's the right term. I still don't know if that's the right term. Or
mixed race.
Yeah, you guys have mixed race. Okay.
You know, there's a lot of people that hate that term.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I just don't like half caste. I don't like half caste.
Yeah, that
mixed
is
for
low.
me, that's all right.
That's like that's like calling black people
because
colors.
we're all one race. Yeah, I know where you're coming from, Jerome. But you know,
but tell me something.
The lesser of two evils, as you said.
Yeah.
How I want to know how maybe some people that have mixed race kids can relate to this. How do you guys deal in terms of like upbringing your kids into a world, in terms of like, obviously I'm black, if I have a child with somebody who's white or whatever, because if you have a child with somebody who's black, you just have to worry about being black, basically. That's pretty much it. And when you have a child with somebody who's of a different race, you now have, I would say, probably more responsibility. No, not more, sorry, let me scratch that. You now have the obligation to show the child your side, basically, the things that they have to deal with being black. Ray, probably you can speak more into that. I don't know if that was...
Do you know what? Like, the way I look at it, you bring up your kids, where your kids are born in a country, you bring up your kids aligned to that culture as much as you can. You give them as much as you know about your culture and heritage, as much as you can. You let them know that's their background, but this is where you're from now. You know what I mean? And regardless of any judge or someone trying to say, oh, you're not from here, where are you really from? I'm really from fucking Ireland. As simple as fucking that. If you don't like it, you can look on my fucking back, it's writ there. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I put it. As nice as possible. No, but no, honestly, I don't mean to be crude.
I agree with pockets of that, because look, at the end of the day, yeah, we're so fixed on.
What?
From just deep, man, just deep. Well, listen, I said we probably just do like 5 more minutes and then we're coming to the end, people. You go and say your piece, and then
I'm thinking we focus so much on putting labels. I think for me, let just kids be kids.
Exactly.
You know, just let them be kids. Fucking hell, when we were coming up, yeah, you was just a child. Fuck a race. Fuck everything else. Let them be kids. So if they go down the street,
if you come down with say, oh, a such comedian would you not be sit down, son? Let me tell you this.
look, if things arise, of course you're gonna have conversations about that, yeah. But then when kids are growing up, of course things are gonna come up. They're gonna get in trouble on the schoolyard, right?
So
And
you're
you're
not
gonna
gonna
get you're gonna get called into school because they go into some kind of trouble. You're gonna have to deal with that. But for the most part, leave them be.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
You're not gonna
Leave
prep
them
them.
be.
Not like, yo, listen.
Prep
you
them
go
for
in
what?
there.
Look,
No,
I think
no,
doing that, you're
Listen to
subliminally
yourself, bro.
putting things
Come on,
into.
man.
When
Look,
you go in
You're
there,
gonna give
be
the
ready.
kid a
look.
complex, man.
No, I'm just saying. Like,
Because
No,
the
you can go
idea
to
is this,
school.
you know, today
Deal with
we
it.
have so much around gender and this, you know, this and that and the next thing. So kids, as if it's not tough enough being a child, now they have to deal with their gender or what do you relate to and all of this, yeah? What I say is just leave kids be kids. Let them have a childhood. Like, look.
that's not gonna backfire in the
No,
future.
look.
Marvin, that's not gonna backfire.
Maybe.
That backfire.
No, but he's ready.
Yeah.
Like as he is a martial arts teacher. So in a certain way, like if you don't mind me saying, your kids, you've brought them up able to look after themselves in a physical sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a problem. Like you have to be able, no matter where you're from, you have to be able to look after yourself in your own surroundings, and your kid will have to learn that by themselves. If they come to you and say, "Look, Dad, I need a hand with this, or I need a hand with that," or something happened, then you help them. You don't put a complex into their mind
No,
and tell
they
them,
see this is
if
it,
you
yeah.
go to school now, that teacher
Be ready,
won't like
man.
it.
No,
Beware now.
no.
Beware.
No, because
Don't
then
be
they're
like
gonna
that,
go
man.
tense. They're gonna go into the situation
Yeah.
already tense because they're expecting this situation to happen. Whereas if you let them, because who knows, it might not happen. The world is
The world is
slowly
changing.
moving forward.
It's all about
It might
acceptance.
not happen.
It's
Do you know what I mean?
acceptance.
But if you put it, because then it's on you. You've put this in their head. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's better you leave them be kids.
All right,
And-
cool. Listen,
Yes.
And
we're gonna. Thanks, man. Listen, guys. First of all, thanks very much for everyone for coming.
Yeah.
Talk2 Podcast. You guys want to give all your socials or whatever? Sesh, follow Sesh. What's the Instagram? Man,
It's
talk to people.
Sesh Ireland, SESH, Sesh Ireland, South East Studio headquarters, or you can look me up as MC Dubh, MC Dubh Ireland. You can check me on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. I'm there, you know.
Marvin,
So-
your studio, your classes. Do you have like an online page?
I don't at the moment, you know, but
You don't, yeah.
no. But if you're interested, you could just find me Marvin Pond on Instagram
On Instagram.
or Facebook. Marvin the Dragon Pond, literally Marvin the Dragon Pond.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Jerome,
Yeah.
you don't like social media. There's not even.
Yeah,
there's
but
not
you
even a
already
point.
know I'm on the gram as well. But yeah.
Yeah. There's
Smoke
no point
sickness.
shout him out. Yours truly, the boy.
Shout out to
yours,
Snoop.
ULY.
Yo, we
Talk
want
to
you to come do some
podcast,
music with us, man.
and that's it, man. Listen, man's gotta pee, man. I peace to everyone, man.
Oh,
Seriously.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's Davy Boy time. It's